And welcome back to another video. We are going to replace the front brakes on an '08 Nissan Altima. We're just going to replace the pads. This is really quick, guys. So what you're going to need is to remove the bolts on the other side of the caliper, on the back and the inside. You're going to need a 14mm wrench or ratchet with a socket. Typically what I do is I come down here, I remove the one back here, not the one on the top, because that allowed me to swing the caliper this way, and I'm able to remove it out and then replace the pads. So I'll show you how I do that. Once you remove the bolt, you gotta get yourself a flathead screwdriver and start prying on the caliper up so that you can swing it out of the way, pop it out. You don't have to, well, if you want to inspect the pins, which you should, right? They have to be able to move back and forth, and if you want to grease them, you would remove the caliper out of the boot right here, this plastic boot. Which just swing, take it out, lubricate the pin, inspect the pin, and then put everything back together when you're done. Or you can just swing it out of the way like so, and you can leave it like this, and you can work on the pads, take them out, replace them, do everything you got to do, push the piston back in right here. And it's easy, it's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the pads and all the wear parts, clean everything up. I'm gonna push this in, I'll show you how I do that. This is the piston. I'm gonna have a tool for that, or you can use a clamp. Put the pad here and you can use the clamp and squeeze this together. Or you can use a set of these, a big one, and you grab on, you open them up, and you try to force the piston in that way. Another way you do it is when it's down here, when it's put together, you're able to put a screwdriver in here and you just pry it and you're able to force it back that way. I never do it that way. You can if you need to. The goal here is to push the piston in so you have enough room to replace, so that it has enough room for the new pads to have more material. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these and I'll show you when everything is done. All right, guys, I turned the wheel in this direction towards me. That makes the job a lot easier so you can see and inspect things better. If you're gonna do that and you got the brake caliper like so, don't step on the brake, because this thing will shoot out completely and all brake fluid is gonna come out everywhere, and that's not good. So don't step on the brake if you're gonna do that. Turn the key to the on position, no brake, turn the steering wheel, okay? And do this before you even start working. I just did it after because I always forget for some reason. But anyway, guys, once you're here, clean these areas. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Try to get the rust off of it as much as you can with a wire brush or whatever you got. Spray them down when you're done with brake cleaner. These pins, they have to be able to move in and out. If they're stuck, you have to work them out and clean them and make sure they're nice and easy to move. Same thing up here. Even though the caliper is, the pin is not completely out, you should be able to move it in and out like so for proper brake function, okay? You can take them out and lubricate them, inspect them like I said before, it's up to you. So clean these area, lubricate your pins. You can clean back here if you want. Before you start pushing the caliper in, I usually remove the cap of the reservoir. I don't know if you have to do that, but for some reason I started doing that because one day I think I had a leak or something, and it just makes me feel better that I'm not pushing pressure back into the reservoir. So I open it up in case, so the pressure doesn't build up here and break the reservoir in any way. But always remember to put it back nice and tight when you're done. So leave it like this and it's good. All right, now I'm gonna set up my tool. I'll show you how I do that so that I can push this guy back in. All right, there's the tool set up, and the piston is all the way in. All you got to do is turn this thing, turn it clockwise, and it starts pushing the piston, and once it's bottomed out, you'll feel it, and then you just gotta back it out, remove it, and you're good. All right, calipers all the way in. I clean it with brake cleaner and a wire brush as best as I could, trying to take the rust off as best as I could. In here and here, now I got the wear pieces on there. Remember, in this case, the ones with these wings were on the top, not on the bottom. So make sure you put them in the correct way. Pay attention to those little details. And when you put them in, make sure that they're center to where the disc is not touching them. It's not gonna make noises because they're touching on the brake disc or brake rotor. So put them back the way they were, nice and center, push all the way in, make sure they're sitting well. And now we're gonna put the pads in place. All right guys, the pads are in place and the caliper is getting ready to be closed down. One thing I want to let you guys know, pay attention to how you insert how you remove the old pads, because they have this wear sensor and it has to be put back the same way usually, right? In this case, when you grab a set of pads, they're both the same. You know, one is going to be on the high side, because if I turn this one around and put it on the other side, it's going to be on the bottom, where that's where it was. If I put it on this side, it's going to be on the top, and that's where it was. But anyway, when it comes to inserting these, you have to kind of like wedge it in, put it where it goes, right in there, and line the top up. And then also you got that clip in the bottom, so you have to kind of like pay attention to that and just insert it. You're gonna do the same thing in the back. And the back is a little tough, but that's basically what you gotta do. And if you got lubrication, you insert lubrication in that point. Same down the top, same thing in the back, up and down. All right, so remember that. It's easy. All right, you put it like this and work the other one in. Pay attention to that bottom piece. And that's it. Same thing in the back. All right, now getting ready to close the caliper. And usually what you do is you bring it down and you just work it in so that it doesn't hit anything. And if this pin is sticking out too far, you make sure it clears the pin. And that's it. Now I'll put the bolt back in. Make sure everything is tight. If you got anti-seize, it's good to put on the bolts. These bolts sometimes they seize. Make sure that's nice and tight, and then we go in the car and we pump the brakes a few times so they get nice and hard. That way the fluid comes back into the caliper where it belongs. And that's it. All right, the bolt is in. It's nice and snug. They go tight, but they don't go extremely tight, guys. So don't try to extremely tighten up that bolt and then ruin the bolt. But anyway, like I said, come here, pump it a few times to get that fluid to go back into the caliper. You'll feel it. It starts getting hard. See, about 3 or 4 pumps, it starts getting hard. And then you're good. Put the wheel back on and then do the other side. Simple, fellas. Anybody can do this with simple tools, patience, and paying attention to details. So this is one way you can do the brakes. You can go extreme. You can take the caliper out. You can get the fluid out of the caliper. Like I said, you can take the pins out, clean them really good, lubricate them really good. You can also replace the pads and the rotor, which is a complete brake job. That's the correct way of really doing these, but this is like the cheap way of doing it. So that's all I got for you guys. So if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe is free. Leave a comment, ask me any questions. That's what we're here for. If you have any other knowledge you want to add to the video, put it in the comments so everybody can communicate. We all can share the knowledge. And again, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.